This is the plaintiff, Tammy Dryden. She says the defendant's dog attacked her poor defenseless dog in the dog park one day, and sadly her pooch has since died. The woman hired an attorney to represent her, and all he did was try to intimidate her by using big words. Intimidate her? Ha! She graduated from Harvard, and the defendant doesn't know who she's dealing with. She's suing for $5,000 for vet bills and punitive damages. This is the defendant, Linda Lambert. She says she can't believe the plaintiff even brought her dog to the park because it had just undergone chemotherapy because he had cancer. She can't understand what this whole lawsuit's even about because the woman has waited a year to file the suit and is suing for the dog's chemo bills and rabies shots. Huh? She's accused of having one mean dog.
Okay, Tammy Dryden.
Hi.
You are suing Linda Lambert for $5,000. $1,510.92 are half of your dog's vet bills, and the rest of it is punitive damages. Okay, what happened?
Thank you for hearing my case, first of all. On the afternoon of April 20th, 2009, I was walking my two dogs, both Bijans, in the park where we go all the time. We had just come from my dog Bartley's oncology visit. He did not receive chemo that day, but he had been diagnosed with T-cell lymphoma cancer the previous July. So, he was not in remission. He had received chemo about a week or 2 weeks before.
Was not in remission?
No,
Okay.
he had received chemo 2 weeks before that, a week or 2 weeks before that. He went for his regular checkup. The doctor said he was doing okay. And we went to the park. It's an off-leash park. The dogs are permitted to be off-leash on the trails, which we were. Well, we just finished walking one of the loops, and I thought to myself, oh, I'll let him have 5 more minutes. Went to do another loop. Upon completion of that loop, I ran into Miss Lambert and her two dogs. One, Suki, is she called it a coyote mix, very cute little dog, and the other one was a young German Shepherd, Wolfie. We had a conversation about Bartley. She, always asked how he was doing, etc. She always had treats on her. I think she pulled out a baggie full of hot dogs. So she was giving him the treats, no problem, and he went and he was maybe about 5 feet away from me. Miss Lambert was in front of me. Her two dogs were milling about. My other dog, Easton, was milling about somewhere as well. Then I spied somebody pulling into the parking lot. The gentleman got out with his dog, which is a black Akita mix of some sort. His name is, the dog's name is Bonnie. I knew the man as Bob. And Bob approached us. I knew that Bonnie had had problems at the park on previous occasions. I knew that she had bit a biker, I want to say. So I'd known that he had been banned from the park previously.
Oh, he was banned? The dog was banned?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, she was. And, he pulled right into the parking lot. He got out. I figured, oh, great, he's been reinstated. Good, he had to do what he had to do. And at that point, he took Bonnie's collar off, and she just went, boom, right on top of Bartley, and had him pinned. And I immediately went, grabbed her collar. It was
Whose
a red,
collar?
Bonnie's collar. It was a red collar. Bob grabbed her collar from me, and then I turned to see if Bartley was okay, and that's when Wolfie came from behind Miss Lambert and jumped right on Bartley as well, grabbing him around this area here.
Okay.
Miss Lambert then restrained Wolfie. At that point, I was able to pick him up and look him over, and I'm looking at him going, okay, I think he's okay. I hope he's okay. I think he's okay. And then I started seeing the blood seep through his fur. I turned over his ear, noticed that his ear was cut up.
So you take him to the vet.
Yes, I took him to the vet, and he had these open puncture wounds on his back. Now, open puncture wounds on any dog cannot be sutured up. They're just, they just have to clean them, they have to irrigate them, and they.
Do you have the photos?
Yes, ma'am, I do. This is what he looked like after the attack. There were lacerations on his chest. His ear was torn, and a chunk of his ear was taken out. And what was explained to me is because of Bartley, he had a low white count at that time. Because of his compromised immunity, I would just have to really monitor him for infection.
So you go home.
Yes.
And then Bartley hits a fever of what?
I took him immediately at that point. I think he was admitted around 1 o'clock in the morning to the emergency vet. He was admitted with a temperature of 105, so he was becoming septic.
And what ends up happening is Bartley is hospitalized for a period of what, 2 days?
2 days.
And ends up racking up quite a large bill.
About $3,000, yes.
All right. Why don't you tell me what it is that happened here?
Yes. The Akita owner let his dog off the leash, and he was in the parking lot, came running through the parking lot.
Had the Akita been banned from the park?
Yes.
And was the Akita reinstated?
No.
So, well, that Akita owner is not a very responsible dog owner.
No, not very
Well,
at
I'm
all.
sorry that he's not here for me to dismember him. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go on.
And I do remember him picking Bartley up and shaking him
Okay.
viciously. And I ran over to assist her and grab the dog. And as I was running forward, my German Shepherd ran forward also. I have pictures of him too.
Let me see what you've got. Hand it to Douglas, please. And what happened? What did Wolfie do?
As I went over there, my dog came forward too, and she, as I remember, she grabbed him, and he hardly even got over there, and I said,
Wait,
"I'm sorry."
She grabbed him.
Yeah.
You're using too many pronouns.
Miss Dryden grabbed Wolf.
Okay. But what
And-
did Wolf do? You're still not telling me.
Nothing. He ran over there to put his, I guess, to put his nose or to help Bartley in some way, or just to
So
be
Wolf
there.
made no contact with the
Not
with her
that I
dog.
saw.
All right.
He might have put his nose on him.
Yes.
I have the police report
Hand
here,
it
Your
over.
Honor.
And Wolf has never given you a problem before.
He's never been harmful to any other dog. I have letters from many people.
Yeah, I saw them.
Yes, thank you.
The Wolf has many friends.
I
And
have
put
an
your hand
email
down.
from her saying that she has had problems with Wolfie before.
Oh, hand that over.
Is a dog owner responsible for the first bite? What do you think?
Yes, he's very responsible. He's the sole owner of the dog.
But he didn't know before. He didn't know before the dog bit.
Well, he's still responsible.
Okay, that's simple. Going inside the courtroom.
This is purportedly an email from you. Wolf has his own attorney. Would you believe it? Because of the incident that happened with Bob there. Leslie said he tried to attack her when he was a puppy, even though eyewitnesses called and said no such thing happened. Between Bob's attack with Bonnie and Leslie's lie, Wolfie, before the age of 2, has 2 strikes against him. Tell me about this. What's going on?
My puppy, at the time, he was 6 months old. My puppy wanted to play with Leslie's Rottweiler. He ran over and started barking. She called the dog warden and said that the dog had tried to attack her, even though
What ended up happening with that?
he just said he came over and met my dog and petted him and stuff.
But did you get banned?
No.
Why didn't you tell me about this before she caught you on this email? Why do I have to cross-examine you with the email as opposed to you tell me when I asked you specifically, have you ever had any other problem with Wolf? Why didn't you just say, well, someone accused him of it once, but I was right there, it didn't happen?
Yeah, well, it didn't happen.
Okay.
And this
All right, then
didn't
tell me
happen
why
either.
you tell the dog warden, or not, I keep saying the dog warden, but it's actually the police department that investigated this. And apparently you told the police officer, Ms. Lambert stated that the incident happened so fast it only lasted a few seconds, and that after the incident, she, Ms. Lambert, had knelt down to check on Ms. Dryden's dog, and that's when her German Shepherd, Wolfie, came from behind around her and pinched Ms. Dryden's dog with his mouth. How is that your dog didn't make contact with her or only nosed her? Ms. Lambert stated that once she realized that her German Shepherd, Wolfie, had, quote, the officer puts it in quotes because he doesn't know what it means either, pinched Ms. Dryden's dog, she immediately grabbed Bartley and pulled him away from her dog, Wolfie. Okay. Can you please explain why it is that you come into my courtroom and you say that there was no contact between the dogs, that at most he pressed his nose against him, and yet you told the police that your dog pinched, which is also minimizing, but it's different from what you said now. Tell me.
It's a long time ago. And
Really?
Yes.
You forgot what happened?
It was a year ago.
And you forgot what happened?
Yeah, kind of.
You feel that the bottom line is that you shouldn't have to pay this vet bill because
I offered to pay part of it. I also have an email from an attorney that tried to figure out which my part would be, and she admitted that the other owner's dog did more damage. I have that here.
Okay.
I can tell you all about that conversation, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just to give you some
Great
background, Bartley came home from the hospital. He died 2 months later from his cancer.
I'm sorry.
It was unfortunate, but it is what it is. About a week to 2 weeks later, I'm walking in the park, and Miss Lambert's daughter, Janine, I see her about 70 yards away. I see both of them coming towards me. Miss Lambert makes eye contact with me, and they're off. They started sprinting through the woods like Usain Bolt on fire.
And you should know what an Olympian looks like, right?
I'm a former Olympian. I was actually very, very impressed with the speed at which they were running, Your Honor.
What Olympic sport did you play?
Ice hockey.
Ice hockey. What'd you play?
I played for the Canadian team in 2002 in Salt Lake City.
Did you see her and run?
Well, actually, I saw her, and I had heard that she was going to sue me for $3,000 for cancer treatment, the dog wounds, and everything else. I just didn't want
All
to
right,
remind
let's go
her that
over the
I
bills
needed
and let's talk about the bills.
Okay.
Okay.
Well-
Because you feel, your attorney, oh, you were going to talk to me about the attorney
Yes,
conversation.
ma'am. You know, Miss Lambert, I actually called Miss Lambert's lawyer, and I said to her, you know, I just like to know what your client's position is as to why she doesn't owe me for her half of the bill. So she goes, well, you know, the other dog did all the damage. I said, no, I can't determine that because both dogs jumped in. I can't say that this dog caused this wound.
This is impossible. Stop. You guys need to understand something. You are responsible for anything that results from the dog bite because both your dog, and I don't think there's any question in your mind anymore, there's any question in my mind that both dogs bit her dog, okay? If you think that a court of law can sit there and try to figure out the difference between the bite marks, you're nuts. But apparently, this is what your lawyer told you.
Absolutely.
Because according to you, how did that conversation go?
The lawyer says to me, well, the vets can look at dental records of the dog and compare to the dog
Okay,
wounds.
like it's a murder case. That's not going to happen. I'm sort of amazed that it got this far, okay? Now, I understand you're concerned that you don't want to pay for cancer treatment because you didn't cause the cancer. So I looked very thoroughly at the medical records, and there are a couple of items there that, in fact, are cancer-related. However, according to the medical records, this dog would not have had to be hospitalized for 3 days if it didn't have a compromised immune system. Yes, but you think that that's on the dog, and I'm here to tell you that's on you and the Akita owner. Okay? You take your plaintiff as you find your plaintiff. And if your dogs happen to attack a dog that needs more medical care, so long as that medical care is reasonable veterinary care, then you got to pay. You're jointly and severally liable, which actually means that each of them are responsible for the whole thing. Okay? She's suing you for half of the bills because she's getting the other half from the other side, supposedly. So, you know, you're like, you understand she could sue you for the whole $3,000, and she didn't. All right? But at the end of the day, in this situation, I'm a little bit appalled that there wasn't some effort to resolve this rather than an abdication of responsibility. I don't even care what the lawyer tells me. I mean, before paying a lawyer $1,500, I'd have paid her $5,500 just because I want to sleep at night, all right? So when I deduct, oh, by the way, and you're suing for punitive damages. You do not get punitive damages in a case like this just because you're angry or mad.
No,
this
even
is not
if I
a
can
punitive
establish
damages
that she
case.
brought a dog that she knew had a propensity to do something like this?
No, because your dog is property.
I'm
you
aware.
were forced to expend money, and what you're entitled to is the money you were forced to expend. You cannot sue on behalf of your dog's pain and suffering. It's just not done. It can't be done. That's the law. All right? But I do find that when we deduct the amount that was pure cancer treatment, your half of the bills, which is what she is asking for in this courtroom, is what you're going to pay, and that's $1,349.79. Good luck, folks.
Well, the defendant will be paying for half of these bills. Step right on in here. The judge was a little appalled that it got this far. Why did it get this far?
Well, according to her, she wanted me to pay the whole bill and sue Bob for the rest, and I couldn't see doing that.
Well, that's not what she sued you for here.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad she didn't.
All
But
right.
I'm
So
glad.
she got what she deserved here then?
Yes, I
From
think
you?
so. Yes.
Oh, great. All right,
Okay.
right down there.
Thank
right
you.
there. Then why did you have to sue her? She thinks you deserved what you got. So congratulations. What do you think of the outcome of this case?
Well, I'm satisfied that her fair share of the bills will be paid. I do think that she was subject to punitive damages, though, because she knew that her dog had previous problems that I didn't know about. And my
Well,
dog
you had
would,
that explained to you by the judge. That's
Yes.
how the law works. Well, you won the case here in the People's Court, and so how does this compare to winning the gold medal in 2002 on the Canadian women's ice hockey team?
oh, maybe one step below. Still great, but one step below.
Just a little?
Just a little.
A little bit below? All right, I think we can accept that. Over to Harvey.
Funny enough, there used to be actually something called the one free bite rule, which means that if an owner didn't know, the first bite didn't cost the owner anything. That has been abolished in most states. If a dog bites a person especially, the dog owner is responsible for all the damages.